What's up, Spice Droppers? It's Charlie from Ferndale. Let's make some spicy meatball. Just kidding, Mom. They're not spicy. They're just regular. Let's get cooking. Alright, so before we even get to the meat, I'm going to put some of our stuff in a food processor to really chop finely. You could spend the time to chop everything really fine. You could use a cheese grater on the onion and garlic, but this food processor really mixes the flavors, blends them well together, and it really extracts as much flavor as possible out of these. So we're going to go in with about a half a cup of white onion. I have 3 cloves of garlic chopped. I have about a tablespoon each of fresh oregano and basil. If you don't have fresh, you can use the stuff in a shaker. I would just use a little bit more because that stuff does not have as much flavor. I have a half cup of pecorino Romano grated here. You could also use Parmesan. I would just highly advise to not use that powdered stuff. So now I'm going to just hit it with a little drizzle of olive oil. We don't want much because we're not trying to make a liquid here. What we're kind of doing here is making a drier pesto. We want it to be kind of sticky, but we don't want it to be a liquid. So I'm just going to pulse this a little bit. Alright, so we're at the consistency we're looking for. You can see it's not super liquidy, but you could kind of clump this together and, it would stay together, but it's not completely liquefied. So we're going to set this aside, get that meat ready. Alright, so we got our meat here now. I have 1 pound of ground beef, 80-20, and I have 1 pound of mild Italian sausage, and I just like to kind of tear it up a little bit and spread it out so that it mixes easier. We're going to go ahead and throw in that mixture from the food processor. Kind of spread that out a little bit. Some salt and pepper here. I'm going to say a couple teaspoons of each. And of course, the complete recipe will be in the description. Now we're going to go ahead and mix this. Now when you are mixing this, you want to get this as mixed together as possible. And I did think I had gloves here. I do not have any plastic gloves, or I would be using those. So I'm just going to wash my hands a lot. And when I say mix this well, I mean really mix it well, because we don't want to have any bite at all without all of those flavors in there. Alright, so now that this is all mixed up, I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands, and we're going to add the wet ingredients. Alright, for these wet ingredients, I have 2 eggs. I've seen people just use egg yolks. In that case, I'll probably use 3 or 4 egg yolks. About a 1/4 cup of whole milk. And I like to use 4 ounces of cream cheese. Now this I am going to break up a little bit and throw in there. This will give it some extra creaminess in those meatballs. But we're going to mix these in. And really, I'm going to take this cream cheese and really get it smushed out, because I don't want that to clump up in the meatballs. Alright, so now that we basically have a meat paste here, I'm going to start adding my breadcrumbs. I have 3 cups of breadcrumbs here. I'm going to add them about a cup and a half first, and then a little more and a little more in case I don't need the whole thing. As far as the breadcrumbs go, I have Italian style and plain in here. You can use whatever you want. That's just what I had in the house. So I'm going to go ahead and dump about half of this in there, and then we'll keep that to add later. Basically what you're going to be doing is making one giant meatball here. You'll know you have the right consistency when you're able to do that, and it looks like a meatball. And again, this is something that you really want to mix well. You kind of want to knead it like dough, where you just fold it over, push it in, fold it over, push it in. That kind of method always works. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and add some more of these. And you see I still have about a half cup over here, and I think what I have in here is going to be plenty. I'll throw a little more in there. Probably not all of this. Yeah, I might as well just do all of that. So I did end up using all 3 cups of that. And you can really see with my hands here how now the meat, because of those breadcrumbs, is binding to itself and not sticking to me. So I'm not missing those gloves as much right now. Hey, if you're enjoying this so far, like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Alright, so you can see now, I can pick that whole thing up in one big ball. I think we're ready to go. Alright, I got my oven preheating to 425. Gonna spray my pan. I like to put some tin foil there just for better, easier cleanup. And now we're just gonna make some meatballs. Any size you want, really. I like to do maybe the size of a plum, probably about a 1/4 pound. Now a good pro tip too, while I'm thinking about this, is take just a little bit of this and kind of patty it out. Fry that up and taste it for a little taste don't waste. I've made these enough where I know they're okay, but if you're trying new things and want to see how things taste, and if you need more salt and pepper or anything, that's the way to do it. Alright, I got 15 meatballs here. Oven's ready to go. We're going to throw these in for about 15-20 minutes. We're looking for an internal temp of 155 degrees because we're going to finish the cooking in the sauce. Alright, the meatballs just came out after 20 minutes. They're at about 155, 158. I got my sauce going. I'll teach you how to make sauce in another video. But I'm gonna go ahead and throw some of these meatballs in here. Could have used a bigger pan, but I didn't feel like it, so I'm gonna just do a few rounds of some meatballs in here. But we're just gonna take some of that sauce, put it over it, then we're gonna cover these. I got the heat here on like a low to medium simmer. Just let that cook for a few minutes. It'll get up to 165 internal, and then we can serve these. All right, let's plate some of these up. Just take some of the sauce and pour it over here. A little more of that pecorino Romano over top. And I got some of that extra chopped basil for some color. Ooh yeah, let's bite into these. All right, spice droppers, it smells so good in here. I'm gonna cut right into the middle of one of those. And look at that. That is just perfect. Don't fall, don't fall. Oh yeah. Oh man, now I want to make some pasta to eat some of these. Spice droppers, baby. Boom! We did it again. Peace and love. I love you.